At some point tonight, you may open a cabinet, a fridge, or a delivery app without being truly hungry. You might stand there for a few seconds, scanning, something salty, something sweet, something fatty, something that feels like it will satisfy a problem you cannot quite name. That moment feels modern. The light from the fridge, the plastic wrappers, the cold drink, the leftover food waiting safely behind a door. But the instinct behind it is not modern at all. It is older than money, older than farming, older than cities, older than almost everything you call normal. Your body still thinks food is about to disappear. For most of human history, that was not a fear. It was the basic condition of life. Food did not sit in neat rows under fluorescent lights. It ran away. It spoiled. It hid underground. It appeared for a few weeks and vanished for months. It depended on rain, seasons, animals, luck, memory, and the knowledge of people older than you. In that world, hunger was not a small inconvenience between lunch and dinner. Hunger was information. It told you to move, search, dig, climb, follow tracks, crack shells, remember where the fruit grew last year, and listen when someone said they had seen birds circling over a kill. The human body was shaped in that world, not in a world of menus, not in a world of snacks, not in a world where sweetness could be bought at midnight. So when you crave the richest thing in the room, your body is not making a random mistake. It is obeying an old rule: eat what is dense, eat what is rare, eat while you can. The first humans were not clean hunters, walking proudly through the grass with perfect tools and full control over nature. For a long time, they were opportunists. They watched, waited, gathered, stole, scavenged, and used whatever advantage they had. A carcass left behind by a predator was not disgusting. It was a chance. By the time early humans reached it, the best-looking meat might already be gone. But there were still things other animals could not easily reach: thick bones, skulls, hidden fat sealed inside hard containers. A stone in the hand turned those leftovers into food. Bone marrow mattered because it was rich. Brains mattered because they were fatty. The parts modern people might reject were exactly the parts a hungry body would remember. Fat was not the enemy. Fat was stored sunlight, stored movement, stored survival. It was the difference between having enough energy to keep walking and lying down when the cold came. That is why fat still speaks so loudly to the human brain. Butter melting into bread, fried food cracking between your teeth, cheese stretching from a hot slice. These foods are not just tastes, they are signals. For millions of years, the body learned that dense calories deserved attention. The problem is not that the signal is wrong. The problem is that the world changed around it. In the ancient world, fat was difficult to get. You did not open a package and find it waiting. You tracked it, cracked it, carried it, shared it, guarded it. A small amount could matter. A rich bite could repay hours of risk. Now, that same signal appears everywhere. It is cheap, engineered, wrapped, advertised, and placed exactly where tired people will see it. Your brain receives the ancient message, but the situation is completely different. What once meant rare survival fuel can now mean another snack after dinner. Sugar followed the same path. Before farming, before factories, before soft drinks, sweetness was usually seasonal and uncertain. A ripe fruit, a patch of berries, a honeycomb high in a tree. These were not casual desserts, they were events. Sweetness meant fast energy. It meant a rare chance to refill the body before the next empty stretch. Honey may have been one of the most powerful prizes in the wild. It was bright, dense, dangerous to collect, and worth the pain. A person might climb, get stung, and keep going, because a mouthful of sweetness carried a message the body understood immediately: this is valuable. That message never disappeared. Your brain does not experience modern sugar as a modern invention. It experiences sweetness through ancient wiring. The body does not know that the drink came from a vending machine, or that the cookie came from a factory, or that the cereal was designed to be eaten quickly and bought again. It only knows the signal. Energy is here, take it. This is why modern food can feel strangely persuasive. It speaks the oldest language your body knows. Sugar says, this is rare, even when it is everywhere. Fat says, this will protect you, even when you are already safe. Salt says, do not waste this, even when the pantry is full. A craving is not only a desire, it is a memory without words. Then came fire, and food changed again. Cooking was not just a clever trick, it turned food into something the body could use more easily. Roots softened, meat became easier to chew, tough plants gave up more energy. Heat began part of the work before the food reached the stomach. Some researchers argue that cooking helped support major changes in the human body, including the way we used energy. The exact story is still debated, but the basic idea is powerful food was no longer only found, food was transformed. A raw root and a cooked root are not the same meal. Raw meat and roasted meat do not ask the same labor from the body. Fire made calories more accessible. It made certain foods safer, softer, and more shareable. It also changed the rhythm of human life. A fire pulls people inward. It creates a center around it. Food can be cooked. Stories can be told. Children can watch. Elders can teach. And a group can become more than bodies moving through the landscape. Food was never just fuel. Food was time. A large animal, when successfully hunted or found, could change the next days of a group's life. It could mean less digging, less searching, less danger for a while. It could mean time to repair tools, care for children, teach skills, remember roots, and sit close enough to hear another person breathe in the dark. This is one reason protein still carries such weight in the human appetite. Meat was not only calories, it was efficiency. It concentrated effort. It turned one dangerous success into many shared meals. But ancient eating was not romantic. It was not a clean return to nature. It involved risk, injury, parasites, rot, hunger, competition, and choices modern people would rather not imagine. Humans ate insects. They dug for roots. They broke bones. They ate organs. They used foods that smelled strong, looked strange, or required knowledge to make safe. In some places and times, archaeological evidence suggests humans also consumed other humans, sometimes in ways that may have had ritual meaning rather than simple starvation. We should be careful with those interpretations, because the past rarely explains itself in one simple sentence. But the evidence is enough to remind us of something uncomfortable. Human food history was never pure. It was practical, symbolic, desperate, creative, social, and sometimes disturbing. The same species that painted cave walls and buried its dead also cracked bones for marrow and learned to make value from things other animals left behind. Even rot became part of the story. Before refrigerators, preserving food was a constant problem. Meat could spoil, plants could ferment, milk could sour, fish could dry. Something dangerous could sometimes become useful if people learned the timing, the smell, the texture, the method. Not all rot was safe, but controlled decay eventually became part of human cuisine. Cheese, yogurt, sourdough, pickles, soy sauce, beer, wine. These foods are not accidents. They are proof that humans learned to negotiate with microbes. We took a process that could kill us and, slowly, turned parts of it into flavor. That is the strange beauty of human eating. Again and again, the body and the culture worked together. Scarcity shaped desire. Fire shaped digestion. Sharing shaped society. Fermentation shaped taste. Memory shaped survival. And then Very recently, everything changed. The body that learned to search for rare calories was placed inside a world of constant calories. The brain that learned to value sweetness now lives among shelves of sweetness. The stomach that evolved under uncertainty now lives near refrigerators, restaurants, delivery apps, gas stations, vending machines, and supermarkets bright enough to feel like permanent daylight. Your body did not get a software update for this. It still scans, it still notices, it still responds to the richest signal nearby. It still treats dense food as important, because for most of human history, ignoring dense food would have been foolish. This is why modern eating can feel so confusing. You may know you are safe. You may know food will be there tomorrow. You may know you are not starving, but the oldest parts of the body do not fully believe in tomorrow's grocery store. They believe in winter. They believe in drought. They believe in the kill that might not happen, the fruit that might not return, the animal that might outrun you, the storm that might keep everyone hungry for days. The modern world says, there is more. The ancient body says, take it now. That conflict is not a personal failure. It is a mismatch. A survival system built for scarcity has been dropped into abundance and asked to behave politely. Imagine bringing a person from 50,000 years ago into a supermarket, not a royal feast, not a palace, just an ordinary store on an ordinary evening. Fruit from different climates, meat already cut, milk kept cold, bread stacked in bags, salt, sugar, fat, oil, grain, fish, nuts, all waiting under one roof, no chase, no climb, no blood, no season, no elder pointing out which plant is safe, no child crying because there is nothing left. To them, it might look impossible. Now imagine the opposite. Place a modern person in their world. No labels, no clean water tap, no fridge, no map of edible plants, no guarantee that the next thing you eat will help you rather than harm you. You could stand in a landscape full of food and still starve. Because food is not just what exists, food is what you know how to find, prepare, share, and survive. That is what modern life hides from us. We think food is simple because it has been made simple for us. But beneath every craving is a long history of danger. Beneath every snack is an ancient equation: energy, risk, memory, scarcity, reward. Your body is not broken because it wants rich food. It is ancient. It is doing what worked for an almost unimaginable stretch of time. But the world it was built for is gone. So the next time you find yourself standing in front of the fridge, searching without knowing exactly what you want, pause for a second, not to shame yourself, not to pretend hunger is simple, just to notice the age of the feeling. That quiet pull towards sweetness, salt, fat, and fullness is not only about tonight, it is a message from people who lived before stores, before farms, before clocks, before comfort, people who survived because their bodies told them to take energy seriously. They were hungry, cold, tired, and alert in ways most of us will never fully understand. You may be one of the first humans in your family line who can be bored in a room full of food. That is not a small thing. It is one of the strangest kinds of wealth our species has ever known.